Hi, I'm Matt Golson, and this is Insane Budget Photography. So tonight we're going to ask the question, when is cheap too cheap? And this is the Canon 75-300. It's a pretty famous lens for being bad, and it's very affordable, very cheap. This is a Sigma 70-200 f2.8. So not exactly a cheap lens, but a much more affordable than say probably Canon's offerings in the f2.8. Telephoto. Those are the two telephoto lenses that I own. We go out a lot on Wren Lake and other lakes around here. And a handful of times I wanted to take my camera. So I always took the 1D3 because I knew if it got splashed on, it would be fine. And I always took this lens. I always took this 75-300 lens because I also, really, if it got wet, like if I dropped the camera in the water, I was like, well, at least I'm not losing this, which I did pay $500 for in the past. This lens was basically free. The 75-300 came with a camera kit that I bought, and it's not seen a lot of use. And when I have used it, I've been really, really unhappy with the results. So our last trip out to the lake, I'll show you some pictures from that trip. I was just like really stunned when I got home by how bad the photos were, with chromatic aberrations, really bad on these cranes. They just were soft. If I had to crop in at all, I was just like, whoa, this is so soft. This is so blurry. There's no contrast. There's no sharpness. So I wanted to do a comparison at 200 because, I have just this 200 millimeter lens. And I was just like, I'm just going to do a quick shoot here and see how bad the lens is. So we'll do a little comparison and take a look at it. So I got out the old Canon 5D Mark I and took a photo with the 75-300 and, exact same settings, 200 focal length with the 70-200 Sigma f2.8. And wow, let's look at that again. It's like two separate, totally different pictures or something. Like I changed the lighting. There's a huge difference in lighting. Sharpness is massively different when you zoom in and start really looking at it. Overall, and this was with a flash. I lit these things with a flash because I shot at f6.3, 200 shutter speed, 200th of a second. And the real kicker is I know that it would be so much softer if I was shooting at 300 wide open, which is what I'm probably going to be doing most of the time, trying to shoot wildlife with this lens. So it's a loser. So the question that is on my mind is like, is there even a point for something like this to exist? Is it so useless that it shouldn't even, I should just smash against the wall? These are selling, maybe I could get $75, maybe $50. I mean, this one's got the rubber is starting to break on it and stuff in places. I mean, if I could get $50 out of that lens, I'd be really happy. If I could get $40 out of that lens, I'd be really happy. It has very little value, and especially to me, because I've been using it and I know how bad it is. And then I want to replace it with something with a little more range, because I think this lens is it's a lot worse at 300 millimeters wide open than it is, say, at 200 millimeters f6.3 when I did these tests. So the problem is if you're out there trying to shoot cranes, birds, deer, whatever, I mean, 300 millimeters is kind of the, bare minimum, and it's still, you're never close enough with 300 millimeters. If I had 300 millimeters and say, I don't know, a massive amount of megapixels that I could zoom in, but when you zoom in, this is always not sharp. And I'm not using it on a modern camera with a really dense sensor. I'm using it on a 1D3, with not a dense sensor. And the test I just took this on were on a 5D with an even less dense, a massively not dense sensor. The 5 full frame, it's I don't know what it is, 12 megapixels full frame or something. So massively not dense. So it shouldn't be a challenge for this thing to produce somewhat sharp images on a sensor like that. Put it on a really fine dense sensor, you're going to see all of that stuff, I think. The problem with this lens is that it is at best something that should come with a camera, maybe very cheaply for somebody who wants to take pictures of their kids on a baseball field or something when they're not very far away, because it's not nearly as bad at, like, say, the lower focal lengths, and when you can stop it down, like at a baseball game or something, then it's an acceptable lens. So good, I guess, good value if you can get it super cheap and that's what you're going to use it for. But like for me, I'm like, it ruined here's the problem. It ruined basically all the photos. Like, I mean, none of those are really very good, but they could have been really awesome if I had the right lens. But this weighs 3 of these. This weighs 3 of these, and it's only a 200. So I'm thinking about looking into a 400 millimeter prime for this stuff, and seeing, like, I don't know, like, I haven't decided yet. I'm going to do some looking into it and trying to make a decision. But this thing is definitely going soon, and I'm definitely replacing it because I've really found that I really enjoy photographing, this stuff. It would be a lot of fun if I had, and make some cool images if I had the right lens for it. I don't need to spend $2,000. The 100 to 300 is not, USM lens is not that bad, and I bet it's a lot sharper than this. Plus, image stabilization is another key thing. Like, would definitely help out. I mean, I was doing all my shots at 800th of a second, and so that was kind of limiting me a little bit. I had to have the f-stop up a little, or the ISO up a little higher. So anyway, so that's my spiel for tonight. The 75 to 300 garbage lens, but maybe it's good for somebody that, like I said, if somebody would give this to you, that's about the only way I'd take it. See ya.